At first glance, the 1989 P Washington quarter looks completely ordinary. You've seen it 100 times, maybe 1,000. It's the kind of coin you might toss into a vending machine, drop in your car's cup holder, or find at the bottom of a laundry basket. Nothing about it screams rare. Nothing suggests it could be valuable. But that's exactly what makes it so dangerous to overlook. You see, in the world of coin collecting, it's often not the rarest year that matters, it's the rarest mistake. And with the 1989 P quarter, those mistakes were subtle but game-changing. Minted in Philadelphia, but not all were created equal. Let's start with some basics. The P in 1989 P refers to the Philadelphia Mint, which produced hundreds of millions of quarters that year. On paper, that would make this coin incredibly common. And for the average example, yes, it's worth 25 cents. No more, no less. But some of these coins were struck with critical minting errors. The kind of errors that take a coin from pocket change to auction block treasure. Two errors, in particular, have collectors buzzing, off-center strikes and the elusive but thrilling double die obverse. Magnifying glass tilted left the off-center strike, the coin that wasn't aligned with fate. Let's talk about the off-center strike. During the minting process, a coin blank, called a planchet, is fed into the striking chamber between two dies. Ideally, the planchet should sit perfectly centered before being struck. But sometimes, due to mechanical issues or feed errors, the planchet shifts slightly. The result? A coin where the design appears misaligned, off-center, with part of the image missing or sliding dangerously close to the edge. Play button. The degree of misalignment affects the value. A minor 5% off-center strike may bring in a modest premium, maybe $30 to $50. But coins struck 15%, 25%, or even 50% off-center can fetch several $100s. One particularly dramatic 1989 P example, struck nearly 40% off-center with a visible date and mint mark, sold for $2,400 at auction. Yes, more than $2,000, for a quarter. And what's wild? These off-center quarters can still look eerily similar to normal coins when casually glanced at. Especially those with slight misalignments, which are often the ones found in circulation. The double die obverse, when the coin doubled in value, literally. But now, let's step into the realm of double die errors. This is where things get really interesting. A double die occurs during the production of the coin die itself. The die, the metal stamp that impresses the coin's design, is supposed to be struck once by a hub. But sometimes, the die shifts slightly during the hubbing process, resulting in a doubling of the design. This doubling is then transferred to every coin that die produces. On the 1989 P quarter, collectors have documented several examples of the double die obverse, with clear doubling on the words "Liberty," "In God We Trust," and even the date. Under magnification, the doubling is undeniable. It's not just wear and tear or shadows, it's a separate imprint, usually offset slightly, that gives the text and numbers a ghost-like echo. And the prices? Well, these aren't coins you'll find at every flea market. They're extremely rare. But one example in mint state condition, MS65 and above, has fetched $1,800 at a private sale, and others have broken the $2,000 mark. The higher the grade, and the more dramatic the doubling, the higher the value climbs. Movie camera, what makes these errors so valuable? Let's pause and unpack why these errors make such a difference. They're unintentional. The US Mint doesn't design coins this way. These are factory mistakes, little accidents that slip through quality control. They're scarce. Not all 1989 P quarters have these issues. Most were struck properly. That's why the flawed ones are so rare, and why collectors chase them. They're visually unique. In the world of coins, visual impact matters. The more visible the error, the more desirable it is. They're traceable. Numismatists can authenticate these coins by die variety, pattern, and wear. They're not just flukes, they're part of the mint's historical footprint. Brain identifying an error 1989 P, what to look for. So, if you're holding a 1989 P quarter right now, here's what to check. Examine alignment. Is the design centered? Does Washington's head look off to one side? Is part of the rim missing? Check for doubling. Under good lighting, and ideally with a magnifying glass or loupe, inspect the lettering, especially Liberty and In God We Trust. Are there double lines? Shadows? Echoed text? Inspect the date. Look for any ghosting or separation between numbers. Even the smallest variation could be worth investigating. Weigh it. A normal quarter should weigh 5.67 grams. If yours is underweight or overweight, it might have been struck on the wrong planchet, another valuable error type. Reseat the grading game. Why condition is everything. Even if your 1989 P quarter has one of these minting flaws, its condition plays a huge role in its value. Coins are graded on a 70-point scale. A coin graded MS60, mint state, is uncirculated but may have minor flaws. An MS65 is considered gem quality. The Holy Grail is MS67 or higher, where the coin is nearly flawless under magnification. An error coin in MS63 might fetch a few $100s. That same coin in MS67. Easily 2 to 3 times the price. If you suspect you have a valuable 1989 P, it's often worth submitting it to a third-party grading service like PCGS or NGC. Authentication boosts value and gives buyers confidence. Compass a coin worth hunting for. And so the 1989 P quarter, hiding in plain sight, has become something of a legend among coin collectors. A sleeper coin. A stealthy treasure. It was never supposed to be rare. But because of human error, flawed dies, misaligned planchets, moments of inattention at the mint, it now carries a story far richer than.
Sacagawea dollar, also known as the golden dollar, was introduced by the U.S. Mint in 2000 as part of an effort to replace the Susan B. Anthony dollar, which had been unpopular due to its similar size and appearance to the quarter. The 2000 P Sacagawea dollar features the iconic image of Sacagawea, the Native American woman who served as a guide and interpreter for the Lewis and Clark expedition in the early 1800s. This coin was designed to honor her significant contribution to American history. The obverse side features Sacagawea with her child, Jean-Baptiste, symbolizing her role in the expedition. The reverse side shows an eagle in flight, representing the strength and freedom of the United States. The 2000 P Sacagawea dollar was minted at the Philadelphia Mint, and millions of these coins were produced. However, what sets this coin apart from others is its rarity, and specifically, a special variation of the coin that has skyrocketed in value among collectors. The 2000 P Sacagawea dollar might look like a regular $1 coin, but hidden within the vast production of millions of coins are a few rare variations that are worth much more than their face value. These special coins have turned the 2000 P Sacagawea dollar into a highly sought-after collector's item. Let's take a closer look at what makes this coin special and valuable. The most valuable version of the 2000 P Sacagawea dollar is the one with a special minting error known as the Cheerios variety. It all started when a small batch of Sacagawea dollars was accidentally distributed in Cheerios cereal boxes as part of a promotional campaign. These coins were accidentally given a special finish during their minting process, which made them stand out from regular coins. The Cheerios variety is distinguished by its distinctive, slightly frosted finish and a noticeable, thicker appearance compared to regular Sacagawea dollars. The obverse design, the one with Sacagawea and her child, might appear slightly more matte or frosted, which sets these coins apart from others that have a more polished, smooth surface. While the Cheerios Sacagawea dollar is a rarity, it's not the only variation of the 2000 P Sacagawea dollar that can be valuable. Still, it is the most exciting discovery for collectors. Value: the 2000 P Sacagawea dollar, Cheerios variety, has been known to sell for anywhere between $300 to $2,000 or more, depending on its condition and the demand in the market. Coins in pristine condition can fetch substantial premiums, particularly if they are graded as MS67 or higher. Beyond the Cheerios variety, there are other important factors that can make the 2000 P Sacagawea dollar valuable to collectors. While these variations are more common, some misprints and errors are still highly collectible and can increase the coin's value substantially. Die cracks occur when a minting die begins to wear out or develop cracks. These cracks can leave distinct marks or lines on the coin, especially around the edge or design. For the 2000p Sacagawea dollar, finding an example with a noticeable die crack can increase its value. Value: coins with die cracks, depending on the severity and location of the crack, can be worth anywhere from $50 to $500 or more, especially if the die crack is visible and unique. Just like with any coin, condition is everything. The 2000p Sacagawea dollar is relatively common, but if you find one in near-perfect condition, i.e., MS-67 or MS-68, it could be worth much more than the average circulated coin. These high-grade coins are often graded by the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, or the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC. Value: depending on the grade, an MS-67 2000p Sacagawea dollar can sell for around $100 to $300 or more. In even higher grades, such as MS-68, the value could rise to over $1,000. The value of a coin is heavily influenced by its grade. Coins are graded on a scale from good, G, to mint state, MS-70, with higher grades representing coins in better condition. The Cheerios variety and coins with die cracks or other errors are often assessed by grading professionals. Key grading terms: good, G coins with wear and visible damage. Very little detail. Fine, F coins with some wear but still have basic details. MS-65, a coin that has very light wear and looks almost brand new, but not perfect. MS-70, a perfect, flawless coin with no imperfections, not even visible under magnification. Higher grade coins, especially MS-67 or MS-68, tend to sell for significantly more than lower grade examples. So, it's important to keep your 2000p Sacagawea dollar in the best possible condition if you want to maximize its value. Here's a breakdown of the current market value for different variations of the 2000p Sacagawea dollar. Standard 2000p Sacagawea dollar, circulated $1 to $5, just above face value. 2000p Sacagawea dollar, Cheerios variety $300 to $2,000, depending on condition. 2000p Sacagawea dollar, with die cracks $50 to $500, depending on severity. 2000p Sacagawea dollar, MS-67 or higher $100 to $1,000 plus, depending on grade. 2000p Sacagawea dollar, perfect MS-68 $1,000 to $2,000 plus, highest grades. As you can see, while most 2000p Sacagawea dollars might only be worth a few dollars, the rarer varieties can command serious money. Now, when you think of the US bicentennial, what comes to mind? The year 1976 marked the 200th anniversary of the United States, and to commemorate this monumental milestone, the US Mint released a series of special coins. Among them was the 1976 bicentennial quarter dollar, a coin that would go down in history not only for its role in celebrating the nation's founding, but also for its rare and valuable variations. The bicentennial quarter is a symbol of American pride, featuring a unique design that was meant to capture the spirit of independence and patriotism. However, like many coins that were mass-produced for commemorative purposes, some of these quarters didn't just reflect a historical moment, they became rarities that collectors would treasure for generations. Now, before we dive into the specifics, let's take a quick look at the history of the coin itself and the special design that sets it apart from your everyday quarters. In 1975, the U.S. Mint began preparing for the nation's bicentennial celebrations. A decision was made to release special designs for circulating coins, and the quarter was no exception. The reverse side of the 1976 quarter was redesigned to feature a drummer boy, a symbol of the Revolutionary War, with the date 1776 to 1976 inscribed underneath. The obverse, however, retained the classic design of George Washington by John Flanagan, but with the added twist of a modified date, 1776 to 1976. It was a stunning tribute to American history, and the public eagerly awaited the release of these special edition quarters. Little did they know, some of these coins would become incredibly valuable over the years. While the 1976 bicentennial quarter is common enough to be found in most coin collections, the true value lies in the rarity and unique characteristics of certain variations. So, what are those factors that make this coin so highly prized? Let's break them down. Mint marks and proof versions. The 1976 bicentennial quarter was struck in three major mints: the Philadelphia Mint, the Denver Mint, and the San Francisco Mint. Coins from the San Francisco Mint, in particular, are highly sought after as proof coins, which were specially struck for collectors and feature a mirror-like finish. These proof coins are more valuable, especially if they're in pristine condition. But that's not all. If you manage to find a quarter that lacks a mint mark, you may have stumbled upon something incredibly rare. Philadelphia Mint coins that were struck without a mint mark are highly collectible. Errors and variations. What truly excites coin collectors are the errors and unusual variations that exist among these quarters. Some of the most notable errors include double dies. These coins have a noticeable double impression on the design, making them more valuable than standard issues. These errors are often a result of a misalignment during the minting process, and they can increase the coin's worth by hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Off-center strikes. Some 1976 bicentennial quarters were struck off-center, meaning the design wasn't perfectly aligned with the coin's edges. Depending on how far off-center the coin is, these can be worth considerably more than a regular quarter. Clipped planchets. Occasionally, the metal blanks that are used to strike the coins can get clipped, resulting in a coin with a partially missing edge. These coins are very rare and can be worth a small fortune. Now, let's talk numbers. So, how much is your 1976 bicentennial quarter really worth? While most quarters in decent condition may only fetch a few dollars, rare variations and coins with errors can fetch amounts that would make your head spin. Standard bicentennial quarters. These are typically worth 25 to 50 cents depending on their condition. But don't be discouraged, this is just the baseline. We're talking about the special coins, the ones that stand out. Proof coins. A high-quality 1976 bicentennial proof quarter from the San Francisco Mint in its original packaging can be worth $5 to $10 or more, depending on its condition. But keep in mind, if you find one in mint condition, it can go for as much as $25 or more. Uncirculated coins. Coins that were never in circulation and have been carefully stored can fetch $10 to $50. Error coins. This is where things get exciting. The more significant the error, the higher the price. Double die coins can be worth $500 to $1,000 or more, and off-center strikes can be worth up to $5,000 or beyond, depending on their rarity. In extreme cases, where the errors are more pronounced, collectors have paid up to $25,000 or more. Here's the kicker. While you may have seen some of these figures, the most valuable 1976 bicentennial quarter can be worth $100,000 or even more. Yes, you read that right. For example, some rare double die errors and misstrikes from the Philadelphia Mint or San Francisco Mint have sold at auction for six-figure prices. And as time goes on, the value of these coins continues to increase, as fewer are found in pristine condition, and demand for rare coins continues to grow. Before we jump into its value, let's take a look at the history of the 1961 D1-cent coin. The 1961 D penny is part of the Lincoln Memorial Cent series, which was introduced in 1959 to replace the Lincoln Wheat Cent. This transition marked a new era in U.S. coinage, with the reverse design showcasing the iconic Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. The 1961 D penny, which was minted at the Denver Mint, has been widely circulated, with millions of these pennies stamped into existence. However, a few specific factors set the 1961 D penny apart, especially when it comes to rarity, errors, and misprints that have since made it highly sought after among collectors. While the 1961 D penny was minted in large numbers, over 1.1 billion coins were produced, the rarity and value of this coin come into play when specific minting errors and unique variations are discovered. The most notable of these are the die errors and off-center strikes that occurred during its production. Let's take a closer look at some of the reasons why this penny could be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. One of the most exciting and valuable errors that collectors look for in the 1961 D penny is the double die variety. A double die occurs when the coin die, the tool used to stamp the design onto the coin, strikes the coin multiple times, causing the design to appear doubled or misaligned. In the case of the 1961 D penny, some coins were struck with doubled letters, particularly in the words "Liberty" and "In God We Trust." These are not just minor errors but distinctive flaws that can dramatically increase a penny's value. Look carefully at the words and numbers on the coin. If you see a faint, blurry shadow or extra lines next to the original design, you might be holding a double die penny. A double die 1961 D penny is one of the most valuable and rare variations of the 1961 D coin, and these errors can increase the value by hundreds of dollars or more. Value. A double die 1961 D penny can be worth anywhere from $200 to $1,000 or more, depending on its condition and how noticeable the doubling is. Beyond the double die error, there are other factors that contribute to the rarity and value of the 1961 D penny. 1. The off-center strike. An off-center strike occurs when the coin is not properly aligned during the minting process, resulting in a misaligned image on the coin. A 1961 D penny with an off-center strike is a true rarity and can command a premium on the market. Value. An off-center 1961 D penny can be worth anywhere from $100 to $500 or more, depending on how severe the misalignment is. In addition to minting errors, a high-grade 1961 D penny, especially one that has been preserved in pristine condition, can also be quite valuable. These pennies, with minimal wear and sharp details, are often in mint state, MS 65, or higher and are prized by collectors who value quality and condition. Value. AMS 65 1961 D penny, mint state, uncirculated, could easily fetch around $20 to $40, but examples graded MS 67 or higher could be worth $100 to $200 or more, depending on the buyer. The value of a coin isn't determined by just its rarity, it's also heavily influenced by its condition. Coin grading is a method used by collectors and experts to assess the state of a coin. Coins are graded on a scale from good, G, to mint state, MS 70, with higher grades indicating coins that are in better condition. Coin grades. Good, G, a well-worn coin with little to no details. Fine, F, a coin with some wear but still relatively clear. Very fine, VF, a coin with slight wear but sharp details visible. Mint state, MS 60 to MS 70, a coin with no signs of circulation, often graded by specialists for minor imperfections. The higher the grade, the more valuable your 1961 D penny will be. If you find a double die penny in mint state, you could be looking at a coin worth well over $1,000. Now that you know what makes the 1961 D penny so special, let's talk about its current market value. While the typical 1961 D penny, in circulated condition, is worth only a few cents above face value, some of the rarer varieties can reach astonishing prices. Here's an overview. Standard 1961 D penny, circulated 10 cents to 50 cents. 1961 D double die penny, in good condition $200 to $1,000. Off-center strike 1961 D penny, $100 to $500. High-grade mint state 1961 D penny, $20 to $200, depending on condition. Uncirculated, high-grade double die 1961 D penny, $1,000 to $5,000 or more. As you can see, the 1961 D penny has the potential to surprise you with its value, especially if you're lucky enough to find one with minting errors or high-grade condition.